Mac, are we ready to hop into what is going on with our Washington Capitals?
Yeah, we might as well. No time like the present.
Yeah, well said. So things got pretty good coming out of the Olympic break, I would say. I was pleasantly surprised because
Yeah.
normally when that team has time off, they tend to, not look great when they first come back out of a break, but they look pretty good. A couple big wins, that huge win against the Flyers, that was awesome. And then I thought a great win against Vegas, even though they tried to blow it at the end. But out of those two games, which one were you more impressed with by the Caps as a whole?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't think either one of them was like a perfect game by any means, but like you said, I was pleasantly surprised with, obviously the result, but I'd say more so, I mean, that Vegas one just felt like the classic game that we know we blow the lead. Like even
Yeah.
when we were up 3-0, I was like, we are so blowing this.
Yeah.
And so I mean, you shouldn't have to like pat yourself on the back for not blowing a 3-goal lead, but in a way it kind of felt like, wow, okay, we actually put our foot down and didn't do the thing we always do. So by that token, was impressed there. The Flyers one was a little weird because you get a goal from Sandin and you get a goal from Van Riemsdyk, which is good. But by the other side of that coin, that's also like, well, the guys that are supposed to be performing aren't performing. Maybe we kind of let that one slide because, like you said, it's the first game back after the long break. So we just say thanks to two depth D-men who put the team on their back a little bit and got us the W there. But yeah, I think a win is a win with both of those games. They weren't necessarily the most pretty win that I've ever seen, either one of them. But then obviously the Montreal game happened, and now it feels like one step forward, two steps back in the standings.
Yeah, it really does. So, I mean, there's some good positives from that Vegas game. I loved both of the Dubois goals, but yeah, you nailed it perfectly. The Montreal game, Obi, of course, has a great game going into Montreal like he always does. And it's just one of those, classic Caps Canadiens games. They turn the puck over and give Caulfield a home run to the net, in the first 30 seconds, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And I texted you this. I said, God damn, does Cole Caulfield love playing against the Washington Capitals because he just absolutely torments us every time he plays against them.
One of the biggest cap killers we've ever seen.
Absolutely. What do you think, I know we talked about it a little bit with Tyler, but what are you looking for this team to do at the deadline here? I feel like it's just kind of a big question mark with what this team can give up, what they would be able to go and get. Are there any names jumping out to you at all, or do you think this is kind of going to be an under the radar deadline for the Caps here?
I like what he said about Kyrou. I think that could be a fit. I think the Caps, I alluded to this a little bit during that interview, but I think it's one thing to have said that we're looking for like one of the higher talent wingers in the league. And again, who isn't? But if that's what we've said for about a year now, that we are trying to acquire that type of player, I think you have to be willing to. You can be a little stubborn about that, and you want to be picky. You don't want to compromise too hard and miss a guy like Ehlers, miss a guy like Panarin, and then all of a sudden you're like, all right, fine, we'll settle for, and then go out and overspend on somebody who's not going to be worth it. But I do think you still have to be willing to get somebody like. That's why I like why he said Kyrou, because I think that there's no secret Kyrou is not Panarin. He's not Ehlers. He's not
Correct.
filling the exact same role, but he still could be somebody worth going after, somebody who could make a difference on the team in that way, has offensive firepower. So something like that I think would be a good move. However, I also think there's a world where they do the other thing I said, and it is an underwhelming deadline, and we trade Trevor Van Riemsdyk for like a 4th round pick, and then we just let Hudson come on in, and that's wraps on the deadline for us. So I don't know, where do you stand?
It kind of seems like the TVR thing is really the only piece that, the media has given any attention to the Caps moving. I think what scares me a little bit is the possibility of Connor McMichael being moved. I think, unfortunately, he checks a lot of the boxes that you could send back in a return piece, and why I genuinely don't want him to leave the Washington Capitals. I do think
Agreed.
the Caps, with how aggressive they've been, and you mentioned it, saying they want to go and get something, might have to pull trigger on something like that. So I really hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
However, I just don't know what else you give up when Chris Patrick has already come out and said, you're not giving up Leonard, thank God.
Yep.
You're not giving up Chris Dahl. You're not giving up Lil Pro.
Or Hudson. Yeah.
Or Hudson. So any of the, the guys in the, college or Hershey pipeline aren't going to go. So I don't really know what else you have to play with there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people of all Caps fans have said like somebody like LaPierre would be okay, but I mean, you're not going to get that much probably for somebody like that either.
Probably not. I know people threw Sonny Milano's name around a lot, and now he's down with the Bears. So I don't know what the answer is there. I don't know what their situation is there, but I think you made a great point when we were chatting with Tyler. Like if they don't see or if they don't get what they want, they're not going to do it.
Yeah. No, we've seen time and time again that they are not the kind of team that's just going to do something for the sake of doing it. They are perfectly comfortable just saying, all right, well, wasn't out there. Let's play hockey and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. On the note of the Caps playing hockey, they're currently on the outside of the playoff picture. They are knocking on the door trying to get in. The East has been crazy this year. I'm kind of okay with where the Atlantic is at. Like if these Atlantic teams get in, minus the Bruins, I think they should just do us all a favor and bow out of this one.
Yeah.
I'm kind of okay with this. Like Buffalo, we, as much as you Sabres fans came at us last year, we have been saying this for 4 or 5 years now. We're rooting for you.
Yep.
You're in a playoff position. That's great. Just hold it.
Yeah.
Don't blow it. You can do it. Detroit, we knew this one was coming for a while, so it's good to see them up there.
Yeah, let those teams get in. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah. Montreal, my feelings on. So if we have to do it again, we can do it again. But what do you think needs to change in this, this 10-11 game run in to finish the season here for the Caps to get in and hold a playoff spot?
Well, I mean, lately it's looking like our best option is getting into a wild card spot. But
correct.
But if you do that, you're probably going to end up playing Tampa Bay or Carolina in the first round. And in that world, it's almost like, what's the point?
No, correct.
However, it's easier said than done, obviously, but I just think our best bet is somehow catching the Islanders or the Penguins, who are both tied with 75 points. Caps only have 69, as I'm saying this. Hopefully, by the time you're listening to this, they have 72, 71.
That would be nice.
That's math.
Yeah.
After beating the Mammoth. But my point is, I would much rather play, I've said it before, I want the Penguins to stay in that spot. I want us to pass the Isles, let the Isles get one of those wild card spots, and give us a Caps Penguins first round matchup. Alan May just said the same thing on the air the other night too. He was like, "This is what every Caps fan should be rooting for, not just because it'd be fun, but because I low-key think we would beat the shit out of the Penguins."
I think it's not just every Caps fan. I feel like if you're a neutral party, like I get it if you're like an Islanders fan and you're like, please don't fuck this up for me. But if you're like, I don't know, a Panthers fan or like a Rangers fan who's got nothing left to do, wouldn't you want to see Ovi and Crosby go at it one more time before they hang them up? I know
most people would.
I know I sure would. So hopefully they pull that off. I do agree with you. I think if somehow the M2 spot is available, that's great. Ideally, I think it's going to be the M3 spot. The Penguins have 2 games in hand over the Islanders. And I also think it's worth pointing out that the Caps have played the most games in the Eastern Conference as of today's recording. So that is interesting. They have 62 and everyone else is around 60 or 59.
I think that's the most in the whole league, actually.
It is. Wow. I think a couple things, just for me need to change. Spencer Carberry, I liked what he said the other day, coming out and saying that he didn't think that the Caps needed to do anything in terms of coaching when it comes to the power play and that he's fully, dialed in with Kirk Muller there. And I like Kirk Muller as a coach, and I agree that power play is second to last in the league right now, and that's just not going to work if you want to be a playoff team, in my opinion. I think they have to figure out something there. For me, when I watch that power play, when it gets set up, and when they have, good chances to go through looks 1, 2, and 3, it's great. The problem is getting it set up, keeping zone time. And for me, that mainly just starts with zone entries.
Yeah, and it also seems like I don't know what the process is. I'm sure the coaches do They watch film on the different styles of PK, because it almost seems like we'll figure it out by like the end of one game or something a little bit, the zone entries.
Correct.
We'll get 3 or 4 power play chances, and finally by the third or fourth one, even if we're not scoring, we're at least getting it set up, getting some chances. It's like, okay, there we go. Then the next game, it's back to the drawing board, because all of a sudden the team we're playing has a way more aggressive like penalty kill, and they get into the zone and they act shell shocked when they get attacked. And it's like, oh, I
Right.
thought you were just going to let me stand on the half wall here. It's like, dude, you have to know it's not going to be the same every time. So,
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what the solution is there. It's just an observation, but
I think where they struggle most with penalty killing is when the aggressive pressure comes high by the
Yeah.
penalty killers, and they are
Yes.
really making the blue line guys, Ovi in particular, have pressure in their face.
yeah,
And I think the way that, you saw Montreal go out there and defend against Ovi on the power play was they just had Jake Evans lay down in front of him. And all credit to Jake Evans. He took 2 absolute bombs from Ovi in the final, 5 minutes of that game. But I think that's something that, the
and then
puck
scored an empty netter.
No, exactly. The puck movement needs to be better. You need to, manipulate the penalty killers away from where you're trying to create space. It's just sports 101.
What sucks is, like, I'm just gonna say it, this power play is low-key sucked ever since we lost Kuznetsov.
Kind of.
Like,
Yeah.
he just was that. You're talking about manipulating players away from the puck. He was that guy that no one wanted to go attack because they knew he was too silky, and they knew that they would get fooled by, he would like fake a pass, and then he was too silky with it. And I think we're missing somebody to be like the real quarterback of that power play, and be able to dish it and kind of like hold the puck for a bit, let guys start moving
Right.
around and open up some space somewhere. It seems like a different guy is doing it every time. Like, sometimes Strome will do it.
Right.
Obviously, Carlson for a while was kind of our QB, and he's been hurt, so like that's not
Right.
helping. I don't know. To me, they got to find a way to, again, easier said than done, find a way to isolate Chikrin at the top of the blue line, at the dead center of the blue line, when all the defenders are down low. He
Right.
scores almost every time he has that opportunity.
That's true.
When
If
he
you
can
get
take
him,
2 steps in from the blue line and just pick a
Yeah.
spot and rip it,
get the puck coming downhill, he's unbelievable
Yep.
at that. I would like to see them experiment with putting Ryan Leonard at the point, not only to run the breakout and carry the mail through the neutral zone, because he's one of the only people on that hockey team
who
who
can
you're not
actually
taking,
do that.
you're not taking the puck off his stick. He's good enough with the hands to get
I
it
agree
through
with that.
in and around everyone, get it over the blue line and get it set up. I also think the shot is good enough where if you can get him coming off the top of one of the circles, if you get the lower side to lean in a little bit, he's got a good enough shot in that arsenal to make it a legitimate threat. So
I think that's a great point.
I don't know if, the option is to give PP2 a little bit more time, to give him and guys like Sordiff a chance to get out there and do
every
it.
time I've seen Sordiff out there on the power play, I love what he's doing.
And specifically those two together, I think them moving through the neutral zone together is a great, system for getting the puck in, which,
And he
again, we've
is really
struggled
good
with.
at like the puck retrieval. Like, we're already in the zone, we're set up, someone calls their own number, takes a shot, misses the net, and you're thinking, oh great, they're gonna clear it out, or it's just gonna wrap around the boards. Like,
Right.
he's been great about like going into the corner and getting that rebound and getting it back into our guys' hands after that. So I like what I've seen from him on the power play.
I agree. And then, I think if you've got guys like Tommy Wilson, you've got guys like Dubois, they're great down low there too. Willie can make passes in and around the front of the net. If you can get him the puck in and around the front of the net, it's usually a slam dunk. And then I don't know if there's a better person right now in the Eastern Conference than going in the corner to get a puck and coming out with it than PLD.
Dude, he's just been unreal ever since coming back. And what's crazy is, like, we knew we missed him all year from a defensive centerman standpoint.
Right.
He obviously, if you watch Caps at all, if you know puck at all, you know how important he is, because he's deployed against everyone's top line. He's playing against McDavid, he's playing against McKinnon, all those kinds of guys. But what's been shocking, not shocking, but at least just kind of gravy, is him scoring goals and notching apples like it's nobody's business. I mean, his point production in his first 4 or 5 games back since the injury has been amazing. So
yeah, he's been
good to see.
fantastic. Absolutely. Well, hopefully the Caps can get something together here before the deadline. I hopefully the next time we talk to you guys, they've made a great move, and Jason Robertson is a member of the Washington Capitals. So